searching for a Teemo guide? Look no further, because in this video I will share you the best Teemo knowledge, how to make whole enemy team rage quit. I will show you the best rune pages, the best item builds, the most efficient mushroom placements, and a lot more. So be sure to watch the whole video to maximize your Teemo knowledge to go from this to this. 100% guaranteed result, by the way. In order to understand how to play Teemo, what runes and items to use, then it's important to know what his abilities do. First of all, Teemo's passive is Toxic Shot, which applies extra magic damage to his auto attacks and poisons his target for 4 seconds. Teemo's first ability is Blinding Dart, where he shoots a dart at the target enemy, dealing them magic damage and blinding them for up to 2 seconds. Blinding means that the basic attacks from blinded enemy will miss their target, dealing no damage, and failing to apply on hit effects. So what it tells us is that this ability comes especially handy against champions whose damage output relies on auto attacks, like for example Tryndamere. And as it was previously said, then it also denies enemy from applying on hit effects, that are all the empowered auto attacks, or status effect abilities like for example Garen's Q Silence, Blitzcrank's E Knock Up, and many more. So in certain situations it might be vital to know when, and on who you have to use Blinding Dart. Teemo's second ability is called Move Quick. Its passive grants Teemo up to 25% movement speed if an enemy or structure has not damaged him within the last 5 seconds. And using the active makes Teemo roll a short distance forward and sprint for 3 seconds, during which Move Quick's bonus is doubled and cannot be removed by damage. So not only he will be able to run around the map quicker, it also helps to dodge abilities, gap close enemy champion, or if he is in danger to simply run away. Third ability allows Teemo to become invincible for up to 5 seconds. In case he is standing still, or within the radius of the bush, then the duration extends. Attacks and offensive abilities end his invisibility early. Also, if enemy champion stands close enough to Teemo, then it will reveal his location. After exiting invisibility, Teemo gains up to 60% attack speed for 6 seconds. This is really good ability to sneak up to enemy lanes for some surprise ganks. The way this ability works definitely makes Teemo viable champion to pick for jungle and not only top. Last but not least, Teemo's famous mushrooms. Those traps can be used in so many useful ways, like securing objectives, preventing ganks, killing enemies, clearing minion waves quickly. It's also good to know that you can bounce the shrooms, which comes handy when enemy team takes a dragon or baron. What you can do to possibly steal the drake or kill few enemies is to bounce shrooms over the wall. In case you want to know the most efficient places where to drop your traps, then here is a map with the best trap locations. Placing your traps in these locations will provide you and your team a lot of information about enemy movements, possible ganks, and some are good to set up kills in the lane. This is how you should max the abilities. Blinding Dart first, Guerrilla Warfare second, Move Quick third, and of course always upgrade shrooms when you can. In some cases you might want to go with Guerrilla Warfare before Blinding Dart. When we speak about runes, then there are 2 builds you should know about. One of them is the Electrocute build, which is the most consistently reliable rune page, and you can technically run it into every matchup due to its scaling and fairly short cooldown. Plus it is very easy to proc it with Teemo. Simply auto attack, then use Blinding Dart, and then add another auto attack. So every time Electrocute is not on cooldown, you should be looking for an opportunity to use this combo. Second rune page is Grasp of the Undying, and this is defensive sustain oriented rune that you should go for when you are against champions with high burst and gap close abilities, like for example Camille or Fiora. The downside of that rune is that it doesn't scale so well to the late game as Electrocute does, but it definitely helps to prevent enemy Fiora or Camille from getting fed. In case you are planning to play Teemo in jungle, then once again most viable option is the Electrocute build, but instead of Mana Flow Band as third sub rune, pick Weather Hunter Genius, Pathfinder, or Mastermind instead. Regarding runes and summoner spells, and even how to play against specific champion, I have one really powerful tool to share with you guys later on in this video. For the summoner spells you should go with a standard flash and ignite for that kill pressure in the lane. You also might want to consider taking Ghost in case you are going against high mobility champion like Olaf, but most of the time just stick with Ignite. As for the jungle, you should go with Flash and Chilling Smite. When it comes to items, then Teemo is one of the most versatile champions, because you can play tank Teemo, which kinda works. You can play attack damage Teemo, that kinda works too. Almost every item works on him, but in reality you should always play ability power Teemo, at least in ranked, and all the other fun builds in normals. This is a classic build that synergizes very well with Teemo's abilities. Nash's Tooth is the main item that gives him nice amount of attack speed that helps him to kite enemies. Second item is Liandry's Torment, which is one of the best items to synergize with Teemo's kit, mainly because of its passive that deals 1% of an enemy's max health as bonus magic damage over 3 seconds. And the damage is doubled if enemy is slowed, which works wonders with Teemo's mushrooms as they have slow effect when enemy hits one. Third item is Riley's Crystal Scepter, that gives some nice amount of health and ability power. Fourth item is a bit more situational. In case enemy team has a lot of tanks who stack magic resistance, then go with Void Staff that has a ton of magic penetration. But if you face champion like Mundo, who has a lot of healing in his kit, then go with Moralanomicon, that reduces enemies healing while having some magic penetration in it as well. The last item is Rabadon's Death Cap, that is without a doubt one of the strongest ability power items in the game. For the boots you should definitely go with Gluttonous Greaves for the magical vamp. In case you are playing against Nasus and it happens that you fall behind, then consider getting Boots of Swiftness for the slow resistance. Best boot enchantments are Quicksilver Enchant if there is some heavy CC in enemy team, or Stasis Enchant to defend yourself against assassins. Teleport is not bad pick either. So that was the classical Teemo build, but what I would suggest based on the runes, then with the Electrocute in order to have the best burst damage possible I would go with Luden's Echo and Lichbane. Both are really great burst items and also they give mana that Teemo is really hungry for. Then Nash's Tooth. Fourth item should be Rabadon's Death Cap, and then Void Staff or Moralanomicon. As for the Grasp of the Undying Rune page you should go with this build, which gives Teemo more survivability, while maintaining great damage output. If you are playing Teemo in top lane, then your main goal is to take control of that lane by playing aggressively. It means poking enemies every time they come up to minion for the last hit, or in case they will use some minor spells on minions, then you should try to go all in for the kill. Also you should keep eye on what champion enemy jungler is playing and where he could be pathing. If it's a strong early game champion like Lee Sin, then you might want to keep lane in the middle, or in some cases freeze it closer to your turret. Other times you should look to shove the waves in under enemy turret to get some deep vision down in enemy jungle, or even steal some camps if it's safe. If you get ahead of enemy laner, then you should really try to capitalize on it by zoning enemy away from the minions. In case enemy stays in lane, then start freezing the lane or even slow pushing to crash a huge wave under enemy's turret, because both ways they are going to lose a lot of gold and eventually even tilt them. If enemy has left the lane then be sure to shove the wave and look for an opportunity to roam or to destroy the turret. Mid and late game the best thing you can do as Teemo is playing with your team and securing objectives. Playstyle in team fights goes according to if you are fed or not. If you are fed, then you can play similarly to an assassin's, by looking for opportunities to take out enemy squishy. Or if you are not fed, then you should be playing similarly how ADCs play, by being behind your team and dealing damage from the back line and kiting anyone who comes near you. Also make sure to save few shrooms for team fights, because you want to have a spare shroom to toss at enemies if team fight happens. Teemo has a lot of very mechanical combos. Here are a few very valuable tips and tricks for you guys. First of all, in mid and late game keep eye on how many stasis enchants and guardian angels enemy team has, because you want to ensure you have spare shroom when enemy uses stasis so that they can't escape. If you want to tilt enemy laner then make sure to blind dart them every time they are about to last hit the cannon minion. There is a Google Doc file that League of Legends PC Teemo players use with lots of useful information about the matchups, like what summoners to use, how to play against a certain champion, etc. But the only thing is that some information is not relevant for mobile Teemo players since his abilities and items are slightly different on PC version. But nevertheless you can check it out for some decent advice on matchups. If you found this guide useful then be sure to subscribe. Anyway, that's it for today. Bye guys.